There's this whole thing about, well, Bernie's not releasing his medical information and all this stuff. This was the attack du jour yesterday, right? He's not being transparent. And, he has his heart doctor, his regular doctor, and the official doctor for the hospital have all released, a lot of information about Bernie. And I wanted to just, tell you what's out there. What we know, because I tweeted out yesterday, I'm really not interested in Bernie's last prostate exam. I'd like to know if his heart's in good shape and is he in good shape. And, back in, this was about 6-7 weeks ago, a Twitter handle, GUEK, GUEK_JC is the Twitter handle, put together a really great thread. And I retweeted it a few times last night via the thread reader. About Bernie's health information that Bernie has disclosed. And, I just want to share this with you. I'm going to go through this, and if you think that this is not enough information for you, then, let me know. But this is pretty astonishing. First of all, the physician says my office has served as your physician for the past 29 years. So this is Bernie's longtime doctor. He said Bernie is 6 foot tall, he's 174 pounds, his body mass index is 23.6. This puts Bernie in the 20th percentile for his age. He's leaner than most in his cohort without being in danger of being underweight, which would be a problem if you're in your 70s. Being underweight is not a good thing. His blood pressure is a fantastic 102/56. Wow. His resting heart rate is 60. It doesn't get better than that. His labs show a normal blood count, normal vitamin D, normal thyroid hormone level, no anemia, likely good iron stores. Outside of health issues, he does take Synthroid for his thyroid, but his fasting glucose is 84. That's fantastic. You want it to be below 100, and that's just spectacular. His total cholesterol is 117. Your goal is to be under 200. So these are lab numbers that you'd see in a 25-year-old. I'm not exaggerating. Most surprising is his LDL, that's the bad cholesterol, it's 58. And that's the one that's linked to heart disease, and 58 is super, super low. The goal is to keep it under 100, but 58, that's mind-boggling. His good cholesterol, the goal is to have it above 40, and his HDL, the good cholesterol, is 45. His heart rhythm is a normal sinus rhythm. In other words, the EKG is totally normal. In his detailed medical history, he does have gout, and that's often dietarily related, but he's not on any kind of medication for it, which means it's only an occasional thing that flares up. It's not something that's a chronic problem for him. And he is taking 2 drugs. He's taking atoravastin, which is for cholesterol, and probably why his cholesterol levels are so low, and a thyroid medication, levothyroxine, it helps the thyroid. It makes up, basically as you age, you need to do these things. So, and then he's had mild heartburn issues. But he's not on any kind of medication for it, so he's not at risk for anything like that. He also takes aspirin and has since he had the stent put in to prevent clotting. And then we get into the heart, his heart attack. Cardiac markers are the first thing used to screen for a myocardial infarction. And the doctor says the most significant event in your health was your admission to Desert Springs Hospital in Vegas on November 1st, 2019 for a myocardial infarction. You underwent prompt cardiac catheterization. The narrowed segment was reopened by the placement of 2 drug-eluting stents. It's called PCI. Your standard treatment. You were released 3 days later and returned home. EKG, which or echocardiograms rather, which is like an X-ray of the heart. Only it's not X-rays. It's done with ultrasound, I believe, and measures how well your blood pumps heart and how well and whether your heart walls and valves are strong and like that. And he's completely normal in that. When you have a heart attack, there's this thing called the NSTEMI, but his outcomes are normal now. The greatest mortality predictors for somebody of his age are heart attack or heart failure, and he doesn't have any evidence of heart failure. His heart's in great shape, and the heart attack that he had was because he had one artery that was clogging up, and they've got that popped open with the stent, just like Mike Bloomberg did 20 years ago. So, the bottom line, it goes on from there. His heart rate is 92% of target heart rate, which is fantastic. The actual number is 130 to 150. In other words, he can get his heartbeat, when he does a stress test on a treadmill, he can get his heartbeat up to 150 beats per minute, which is, if you've ever done this, that's like brutal. And he can do that without discomfort. So that means that, this guy is as healthy as somebody in their 30s, 40s, or a healthy person in their 50s. I wish I had these kind of numbers. So, and the letter goes on from there. Again, you can check out my tweets yesterday and you can read the whole thing. So this whole thing of, well, Bernie, why don't you release your medical records? You need to give us that, 3-foot thick file from the last 40 years, with every single time you went in and all the details of all the, It's stupid, and I just wanted to lay all this out, and we'll probably clip this little riff and put it on YouTube so that people can see it, because people need to know it's a phony attack. They're totally grasping at straws. They can't attack Bernie for being a bad person, like they're going after Bloomberg now for, Bernie doesn't have NDAs with women. They can't go after Bernie for being corrupt. They can't go after Bernie for taking corporate money or billionaire money. They can't go after Bernie for being inconsistent. They can't go after Bernie for being, a bigot. So what do? Well, he didn't give us enough information about his health. Are you nuts?